Hello everyone, I'm Ragnar, and today I will show you how I made this beautiful scene all in Blender. Okay, so let's jump into it. Okay, so as I made this scene in Blender 4.0 Alpha, let me show you how can you get Blender 4.0 Alpha. Just go to blender.org, the official website of Blender. Now just simply click on Download and come down and you can see Download Experimental. Now there it is in the last Blender, 4.0 Alpha JUTS. Click on it to download. First, we'll start by deleting the default cube as the popular ritual of Blender community artists. Okay, now press Shift plus A, in Mesh, select circle that will act as our base plane ground. The reason you should select a circle for the ground plane is that when you see from a low height, you can't see any corners, and the plane looks infinite, and you can't see any end, so it creates an illusion of a big area. Okay, so give the circle the dimensions that I'm giving that worked for my scene. Select vertices 128 and radius to be 54 meter. Yes, that's some big plane because our scene is going to be a big. Now to fill your circle, most of the times you may go to edit mode and select all, then press F. But this time we're going to do something different. This time press Ctrl plus F and then select Grid Fill. And boom, see now our plane is filled with these vertices and that too with only quads. Now press A to select all and then right, click and subdivide. Now you can press Shift plus R to repeat the last action in Blender. In this case, we subdivided the last time, so now press Shift plus R 2 times to subdivide your plane even more. Remember to not subdivide so much if you love your PC. Okay, now we can jump into Shading tab to give it some material. We are not going to use any third-party texture in this tutorial because I'm going to teach you how you can make your own procedural texture in Blender itself. Select your circle if not selected. Then click on New to create a new material for your object. Okay, so now you can see one principled BSDF node and a material output node. You can also press Shift plus A here to add nodes. If you don't know the directory of your node, you can just type the name in the search box and click on it and it'll add to your node base. Okay, so now we will add a noise texture. Connect the factor of the noise texture to the base color of the principled BSDF. Now in noise texture, put these values that worked for my scene, set scale to 10, details to 10, and leave everything as it is. Now press again Shift plus R and type color ramp in the search box and add a color ramp node and place it on this wire and it'll automatically connect in between. Now you can see 2 handles, one for black color and one for white color. You can also change these colors. Okay, so we want to make it look like a ground, so in the black part we will change the color to brown, or you can type this hex code that I used, FF7F25, and in position type 0.498. Now click on the white handle and leave the color as it is, but change the position to 0.625. Okay, now again press Shift plus A, then in search box type Mix, then hit Enter. Place it on the wire between color ramp and principled BSDF. Change the type from float to color, and connect the color ramp to socket B of the mix node and result of the mix node to principled BSDF. Click on the box of socket A and make this something like a blue for water part, or you can type this hex code that I used, 50656B. Drag the factor value to max, and in blending mode select multiply. Now select this mix node, then press Shift plus D to duplicate the node and connect in between this wire. Connect the mix to socket B and this noise texture into socket A. And now you can see we got a ground color and water color on our plane. Okay, so if you haven't installed the Node Wrangler add-on yet, after so many YouTube artists telling you to do so, then I'll tell you again. Go to Edit then. Preferences, click on Add-ons, now in the search box type Node Wrangler, and check the box next to it and save preferences. Okay, now get back to work. Select the noise texture node and press Ctrl plus T to add mapping node and texture coordinate. Now in scale of mapping node, change the values. X to minus 0.5, Y to 0.6, Z to minus 4.1. These are the values I used. Now add another noise texture and connect it to the roughness socket of the existing noise texture, and change the values. scale to 96.6, detail to 5, roughness to 0.3, and leave distortion to 0. Now we want to make the blue part shiny to make it look water and the ground part rough. Okay, so come to the principled BSDF and you can see the roughness value. Now add a color ramp next to it and connect the color to roughness and connect the factor of the noise texture to the factor of color ramp. And change the black handle's position to 0.44 and white position to 0.611. Oh, but this is inverted. So yes, we'll add the node as the same name. Add an invert node and connect it between the color ramp and roughness. And boom. Now you can just duplicate these two nodes and connect them to metallic and not in specular. This will add more realism to our water as well as ground. And don't forget to connect the noise texture to color ramp. Okay, our scene is already looking pretty good, but not quite convincing because it's looking so plain, and we do want to add some bump to it. Yes, you guessed it right. We are going to add a bump node right next to the normal socket of the principled BSDF. Connect the normal to the normal. Now duplicate the above color ramp and connect it to the height socket of the bump. And again, don't forget to connect noise texture to the color ramp. And check the box invert in the bump node. And boom. Look at what we have made, and it's fully procedural. You can also change the texture from the main noise texture node by increasing scale or changing other properties. And with that, we are now done with the shading part for this tutorial. Now we'll model a large, low poly sci-fi pillar-like thing. Press Shift plus A, add a circle, set the number of vertices to 64 and radius to 8 meters. Then press Tab to go to edit mode and press A to select all and press F to fill a face between the circle. Now just model anything randomly with using just E to extrude and S to scale. You can press Alt plus left click to select a whole loop of faces or edges or vertex in relative to which mode you are in. And also, if you want to extrude a whole loop in their respective normal directions, then you can simply press Alt plus E and you see different options. Click Extrude Faces along normals to extrude the whole loop connected. And if you want to extrude each face individually, select Extrude Individual Faces. If you want to scale each face at its origin, then come up here and you can see this little link type icon. Just click on it and select individual origins, and now if you scale multiple things simultaneously, they will remain at their place and scale up or down. And also remember to change this according to your need. Okay, so when you are done with the modeling part, come to object mode by pressing Tab again. Now we have to give a material to it. Just again hit the shading tab above and select the pillar. And instead of clicking on the new, click on the little down arrow right next to it and select the existing material. And if you want to make changes to it, you have to press on this too. Because right now it's the same material connected to two objects, and that's why it's written 2 here. If you assign more objects to the same material, it'll show you that this material is being used by how many objects in your scene. So if you simply click on this number, it'll become a whole new material, and now you can tweak some changes in it, and our plane will remain unaffected. Okay, so after altering with the material whatever you like, again come to the layout mode and just hide our pillar for now by pressing H on your keyboard. Alt plus H will unhide every hidden objects in your scene. Okay, so now you'll learn why we subdivided our plane so much. Click on your plane and click on this arrow and you can see different options, but we'll select weight paint for this tutorial. Or you can simply press Ctrl plus Tab for a pie menu to alter between different modes of an object. Okay, so when you are in weight paint mode, there are so many things, but you have to focus on only some of the things, which I'm going to mention here. You can notice your mouse is acting like a brush, and if you start painting on your object, it'll paint red with some fall of to blue. This is nothing but density. Red is the maximum density, and you can see up here the weight is set to 1 that is maximum. Yellow is your 3/4 density, and can also type the value in this box according to what density you want to paint. Similarly, green is half density, and cayenne is 1/4 density, and of course, blue is 0 density. The reason we want this density paint is because at the time of adding instances like growing grass or trees or flowers, we have to give Blender the information that at which place I want my objects to instance on. Okay, so if we go again to object mode and in material preview, we can see the material. And we know we want our grass, trees, and flowers on the ground part, of course. So for that, we have to paint on the brown part. But when we come to the weight paint mode again, we can't see our material, and we have no idea where to paint exactly. So for that, I have a trick. What you can do
nice.
is come to Object mode and switch to Material Preview. Then in the left side, you can see a panel of some operators. Now you have to select this pen-like icon, the Annotate. Okay, so now press 7 on your numpad to go to the top view, or if you don't have a numpad in your keyboard, you can just click on this Z and now you're in top view. Now first, make sure you are in Object mode and in Material Preview. Now just simply start drawing lines on the outlines of the brown color and make sure to make them closed loops, so you remember which part is which in the weight paint mode. Okay, so you don't have to be so precise in this. I'll fast forward this part of the video. Okay, now when you are done, switch back to weight paint mode and see now you know where to paint. Set the density to max and start painting in the closed loops with the red. And again, you don't have to be so precise. Okay, so now what we call it is a vertex group. Just in the right side, you can see a green triangle that says Object Data Properties. In this tab, you can see there's vertex groups at the top, and there's a group named Vertex Group. It's the one you just painted just before. When you click this plus icon next to it, you see your object has lost all the paint that you did on it because it's just another vertex group. And you should always name these vertex groups because if you have more than one vertex groups, later it'll be hard for you to remember which was which. Okay, so give this vertex group the name Ground, and create another vertex group and name this Water, and start painting with red in the remaining area. If you didn't understood anything I just said, don't worry, you'll get to know later in the video, so keep watching and keep listening. Okay, now when you're done with this lengthy and most probably frustrating part, now get ready to do the best part of this video, that is to instance objects like grass, flowers, rocks, and some other miscs. Okay, so for the assets, I'll suggest you this great and probably the best add-on for trees and grass and every nature-related thing. It is Botanic by Polygonic. And if you don't want to pay a single penny, I have another add-on for you. But I'll recommend you this great add-on, Botanic. You can get this add-on on the Blender Market website. There you can also find so many other add-ons, Blender tutorials, and so much more. And yes, if you can't afford this add-on, you don't have to buy the full add-on. You can buy this add-on for just $2 and you'll get 4% of the assets. And I'm also only going to use those assets that are available in the least price tag. And if you don't want to pay any money, then you can download a different add-on. Just search on Google for Blender Kit add-on for Blender and click the GitHub link. Now click on Code and download the zip file and install it like any other add-on in your Blender. Edit, then Preferences. Then in Add-ons, click on Install and go to where you downloaded the add-on and install add-on. And then simply check the box next to it to enable the add-on. You can press N on your keyboard for the N panel to come out. This is where you'll find your every add-on you have installed. Okay, so both the add-ons, Botanic and Blender Kit, are so easy to use. You can also notice that a search bar is just added above in your viewport. And you can see that you can add assets as well as materials, scenes, HDRI, and brushes, and that too most are free for personal project. Just type in the search box whatever you want, and it'll show you some free and some even paid items. Enjoy this add-on. But for this video, I'm gonna use Botanic. Okay, so press N to open N panel and you can see Polygonic. Just click on it and you can see Botanic under this click on Spawn Assets. Now you can choose a variety of assets in this. Even the $2 trial version also have so much for you to play around with. Okay, so now I'll start adding all the required assets for this scene. I'll add 2 types for each thing. Okay, so you can see I've added these assets. 2 grasses, 1 flower, 2 rocks, 1 mushroom, and 1 dry leaf. Now select both grass assets and right-click. Then down below click on Move to Collection and then New. And name your collection as the type for the ease for later. Do the same for rocks as well. Okay, now we'll start instancing all of these on the specific parts of our plane. Select your plane. Now in the right side, just below the wrench icon, you can see its Particle Properties tab. Click it and click on Plus and change the type to Hairs. Check the box on Advanced. Now, check the box for Rotation. And under this, you can randomize the Z rotation of your object to make it look more natural. Okay, so as you can see, there are hairs everywhere on your plane.
Okay, so in Render Panel, in Render As, select Collection, and below, in Collection, just click in the box and you can see the collection we made for our 2 grass assets. First, if you can't see anything, just increase the scale value until you see your instances. Second, They are instancing in wrong direction. So for this, just check this box right next to object rotation. And now select your original object and press R then Y and then 90 on your numpad. And again, if you are missing a numpad on your PC, you can press N, and then in the Item tab, you can directly type 90 in the Y of the rotation under Transform panel. And now you have fixed everything. Now you can change the scale according to the scene and also change scale randomness value. Okay, so now come down and you can see vertex groups. Remember, we just spent a lot on this thing. Okay, so open the vertex groups panel and you can see density on top. That is the weight paint we just did on our plane, because we are instancing the grass first. So in density, we'll select ground, because we want to add our grass to the ground area that we already weight painted on. And boom, we have our grass just where we want it. And it can also come at the very top, and in the number section, increase it to your liking. And again, remember that if you love your PC, just don't go crazy with the count. Okay, so similarly, just like this, we'll now add our other assets. I'll make it fast forward, but don't worry. If you did this previous step, then you'll understand what I'll be doing, and I'll keep talking to you in the fast forward play. Okay, so here we go. Just tweak some major changes like rotation and randomization and scale and randomization. And for flowers and dry leaves, I'll select water part in the density under vertex groups. Okay, so finally, look at what we have made. This was a long journey and a tough one too. And if you really came this far, you must have learned a lot for sure. Okay, so now we can press Alt+H to unhide our hidden objects. And we are just left with some final touches. Okay, so to make our scene look like old and abandoned, we'll add some ivy on our pillar. And yes, again, you guessed it just right, we're going to install this add-on called Ivy Generator. Okay, so go to Edit, then Preferences, and in Add-on, in the search box, type Ivy. And you can see Ivy General, just check the box to enable this add-on. Now press N, and in Create Panel, you can see an Ivy Generator. Click on it, and you can see so many things. And again, never worry until I'm with you. Down below in this, you can see Grow Leaves. Just click on it if it's not checked already. Now this will be the value that how much long your ivy is going to be. And again, don't make this number too high, otherwise this may be the last time you're seeing your PC running some stuff. Okay, so in the branch settings, obviously you can change the size of the branch. And the same for leaves in the leaf settings. And also always try other things on your own, you'll learn better this way. Okay, so to add the ivy to an object, first you have to select the object, and then just press Shift plus right-click to snap you 3D cursor from where you want the ivy to start. The 3D cursor acts as a point of origin for this ivy. After playing with the settings, just click on Add New Ivy in the add-on and make sure your object is selected at the time and where is your 3D cursor at. And also remember that Ivy Generator is heavy for your PC, so don't add too much of ivy in your scene. It'll really make it laggy. Okay, so select the leaves and come to Shading tab again, and I promise this is the last time. Add an image texture node and connect the color to the base color and alpha to the alpha of Principled BSDF. Just download any leaf image with no background, or you can Photoshop it too to make the background disappear. Now press N in your node editor and go to Options. Then under Settings, change the blending mode and shadow to both alpha hashed. Also select the branches, just give a brown color to it as no one is going to notice these small details.
Okay, so in the search bar of Blender Kit add-in here, select HDRI and then type Clouds. Now click on any HDRI and it'll load automatically. Switch to rendered mode to see effect. And if your scene is still looking dull and you are not convinced, then add a sun lamp, press Shift A, then in Light, select Sun. Set the power of sun to 15. Change the angle according to your liking. And now we are done with this project.
Okay, now look, how cool is this looking? We've done a great job, lads. Okay, so this tutorial will end just there. And to not make this tutorial so long and to keep the focus on procedural materials and weight painting concept, we're gonna end it here. And yes, this is my first tutorial video, and it's just so much of hard work in this. Okay, so I hope you learned a lot today, and I'll make a second part in which I will tell you about camera animation and some other cool camera tricks. And also the render properties to make your rendering fast and high quality in Eevee 4.0. Like, share and subscribe for more tutorials and cool animation videos. Keep learning and stay focused and stay creative. Peace.